Tired of waiting on water to freeze and need more ice? Well, check this out. What's up, everybody? It's Broken Bones here, and welcome to Redstone in a Box. Today we're going to be showing you how to build this cheap and easy, large-scale ice farm. This build is also 29 blocks tall, 13 of which being below the floor level. I've used a couple different blocks just because the fact that they're close to ice. I don't want to melt the ice with my sea lantern, so we use that for our measuring stick. But yeah, like I said, 13 of which being below the floor level. However, as you can see, that's the main feed of your storage system. That's only 4 blocks tall, as well as this area. This is also only 4 blocks tall, so that means that you can bring this up another 4 blocks, which means that this is only 9 blocks below the floor level. Once you get over here to your main stream over here, that's going to have to be a total of 13 blocks below the floor level. The first module is going to have your brain circuit, so that's going to be 10 blocks in width, and you can make it as long as you like. That's completely up to you. Every other circuit after that is going to be 7 blocks in width. Also down below, our first module right here is a counting circuit. This is going to count how many bottles of enchanting get dispensed onto the player to fix their pickaxe after going through the farm. This is completely customizable by the player depending on how big they build the farm, and I'll show you guys how to determine how many bottles of enchanting you need to dispense. And right here in front is the entrance of the farm. You need to make sure that your floor blocks are non-spawnable and that your light source blocks are 4 blocks away from your ice. You need to make sure that that's 4 blocks away so they don't melt. Over here are the controls of the farm. Here's your on-off switch and then your entrance button. Over here is your piston that controls your entrance. If you hit this button right here, it retracts that block of glass, allowing the player to move through the ice stream. So once that retracts there, once the player has gone through the entire farm, he will stop until the farm has gone through its entire cycle, and then what will happen is it'll actually dispense the amount of bottles of enchanting the player needs before it releases the player back into the farm to go ahead and mine out more ice. So that's the brain of the farm right there. And then, like I said, here's the on-off switch. Now I'll show you how that works too. Right now the farm is in the off position, which means that our daylight sensor is risen above, which means it shouldn't activate anything. As you can see, though, that daylight sensor will power these repeaters right here, which will activate these observers. This whole brain circuit up here counts out to a day and a half. So the first day cycle is going to go day, night, and then night, day, night, and then day, night, day, night. So it counts a day and a half every other cycle. And then it goes ahead and starts this up. You don't want to run it any faster than that because it takes about a day and a half for the farm to completely freeze over. You do not want to fire it any sooner than that because what will happen is once you get down all the way here, you won't have a full block of ice. You'll have a half broken type of thing, and then what will happen is some of the blocks will push down and some of them won't, and then the water won't spread and your farm will break. So you need to make sure that you have full blocks of ice in your farm. So let's go ahead and turn our farm on. That's going to go ahead and activate it. Let's go ahead and do that here. And as you can see, that should bring our daylight sensor down. Let's go ahead and do that here real quick. Let's see. There we go. Alright, so that's going to go ahead and activate that. And as you can see, we're getting bottles of enchanting, 9 bottles of enchanting. Let's go ahead and collect all that there. That's going to go ahead and mend our pickaxe. And as you can see, all this ice is getting pushed down. And then it's going to go and activate this one right now. As soon as that one gets down to the end, it's going to activate this one. And so it should activate every single one all the way down the line. So let's go ahead and watch that happen. So yeah, that's going to go ahead and trigger every other farm. Every single time one of these farms gets down to the end, it triggers the next farm, which spreads the lag out a little bit, makes it so it doesn't lag your server out. There should only be 2 flying machines running at one time, so that's pretty nifty. Let's go ahead and head on down here and get our pickaxe and go in survival mode and show you how this farm works. So this is pretty cool how fast you actually get the amount of ice in this farm. So as you can see, that led us through really nice and easily. So let's go ahead and do this here real quick. I need to put myself in survival mode. There we go. Let's go ahead and get ourselves back here. And then I need to grab my pick. There we are. Alright, now, as you can see, I have this redstone block here powering that trap door. That's because what you want to do is you want to go ahead and get yourself pressed up in this corner in your very first time, okay? And get yourself aimed up in that right-hand corner of that trap door, just like I am right now. And then pin down your R2 button. Go ahead and get a rubber band or whatever you need to pin down your R2 button. And then let go of your stick and just let your controller do the rest. And as you can see, you're going to go ahead and mine out all the ice, and the farm's going to do the rest. So I'm going to go ahead and take a time lapse of this. We're going to go through the entire farm until we get back to the AFK spot. And as you can see, now we're back at the beginning. Now, if I wanted to, I could go ahead and stop AFKing. We could go ahead and hop in our minecart and exit out very nice and easily, just like that. Now we're done with the farm. Now, if we wanted to, we could go ahead and hop back in like this and sit AFK. Now, if I go ahead and change the daylight cycle, it'll go ahead and activate the farm. So let's go ahead and do that here. Let's go ahead and activate the farm. We'll go to night, just like that, and then we'll go to day. That should activate it, I think. Is that going to activate it? Maybe one more time. Let's go to night one more time. There we go. So there's our bottles of enchanting, and as you can see, we're going to get just the amount that we need to go ahead and mend our pickaxe fully. And if we were still AFK, we could continue to go ahead and use the farm. And now for our redstone in a box. There's going to be two different things, because obviously adding this first module, you're going to have the two brain circuits. You're going to have this one up at the top and then this counter at the bottom. So there's a lot more resources that go along with that first module. But every other module after that only uses the redstone up at the top. So there's a lot less involved with those. So I've separated those two out for you. So every additional module will have this shulker box, and the first module will be out of this shulker box, plus this chest right here. So let's go ahead and get started. For the first module on the left here, you are going to need 34 observers, 8 droppers, 16 sticky pistons, 7 regular pistons, 5 comparators, 18 repeaters, a stack of redstone, a redstone block, 2 slabs of your choice for the redstone in the back, a hopper, 5 dispensers, 2 chests, 8 slime blocks, a daylight sensor, a button, a lever, 2 redstone lamps, 3 redstone torches, 3 stone, plus whatever you're going to be putting in your counter. That's going to be customizable. I'll show you guys how to do that in the tutorial. Also, your redstone is going to vary depending on how long your farm is, so you're going to have to add to account for how long your signal strength needs to go. And same thing for your repeaters. You're going to have to add repeaters in every 15 blocks depending on how long your farm is. Also, every farm is also going to take 7 obsidian and trap doors of your choice. It's just going to have to depend on how long or short you make your farm. As you can see over here in the bottom, we have a bunch of trap doors that are holding the player in. So depending on how long that is, you're going to have to account for that. So over here in our chest, you're also going to need a shulker box filled with bottles of enchanting for your counter over there. That's going to go ahead and mend your pickaxe. You're also going to need a bunch of bottles of enchanting to fill that shulker box. You need a minecart rail, a ladder, a stack of torches, a couple stacks of ice, 7 water buckets, a stair, an oak stair or wood stair. I'm going to say it's going to have to be wood, something that isn't easily mineable with your pickaxe, because you are going to be hitting this block. Also, you're going to need a stack of light sources of your choice, a couple stacks of glass of your choice, also some glass panes of your choice, and some building blocks of your choice as well. So over here in the middle is what's going to take to build every module after you build the first one. So let's go ahead and tear into this guy as well. Every other module is going to take 9 repeaters, 6 sticky pistons, 6 regular pistons, 6 observers, a stack of redstone, 12 obsidian, 8 slime blocks, a stack of pane glass, a stack of regular glass, 5 water buckets. You can use the other 2 to fill up your farm. These are going to go in these 5 dispensers right here. You're also going to be having these other building blocks, also the trap doors for underneath, your light sources of choice, and some more ice for underneath as well. Also, your repeaters and your redstone are going to vary once again, and also you're going to need another redstone block and a button for some of the setup with the trap doors. Obviously, your button and your redstone block are going to be used in the first one. With these trap doors, you're going to have to use a redstone trick with a piston, and I'll show you guys how to do that. So this is actually not included in the build. It's just something that you're going to need for the setup of the build. So with that being said, let's go ahead and tear into the tutorial. To start things off, you're going to place in an ice block and then come on down below and place in your chest. This is going to be where your storage is going to be located at. So I'm going to place in a few temporary blocks here so I can crouch place these in here just like this. Here we go. Just like that. There we are. Alright, so you can go and get yourself a chest and a hopper placed just like that, one block below your line of ice, and go ahead and bring this out as far as you want to have your farm. Once you have your ice in place, make sure that it's within the biome limits of where you're building. And then also over here, I forgot to mention in the first clip where this chest is, I do have a shulker box storage solutions video. I know that this chest is probably not going to do for most of you. You guys are probably going to want tons and tons of this stuff. So to store all that, I have a shulker box storage solutions video. I will include that link on the end screen. But let's go ahead and continue here with the tutorial. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and come up here. We're going to come over here by 4 blocks just like that, and pillar up by 2 just like so. Now we're going to go ahead and bring this all the way back to the end of the farm again. Once you have that in, go ahead and build up the sides. Once you have your sides on, go ahead and come over here to the front by your chest, and you're going to count 4 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, and go ahead and break that one out. You're going to go 5, 6, 7, and 8, and place in your water source right here. Grab your ice and replace that block right there, and that water should flow up to the front just like that without overflowing. Now, this should work in the new update, the aquatic update, even though that we're not playing in that right now because we don't have it yet. But nonetheless, this mechanic will still work. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to skip a block, and then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, break that one out, and go 5, 6, 7, 8, place in our water source, and then replace that ice block right here. And we're going to continue doing that all the way down the back, except right here we're actually done. So we're going to go ahead and break the rest of this out right here, just like that. There we go. Alright. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing to the bottom one. We need to come on down here, fill in our sides, and get our water in. Also, while doing this, remember to cap off your water sources in your freezing biome, because this is going to be the major pain in the butt right here, is having to redo this all the time if you forget to put in these blocks above your water sources. Once you have your walls in down below, go ahead and come over here to the side, and you're going to count out 7 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So here on the 8th block, you're going to go ahead and place in your water just like this, and then go ahead and place in your block just like that, and that should go ahead and flow in one direction like that without flowing backwards. So again, we're going to go and do that again. We're going to skip one and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, break that one out, place in our water source right here, and then go ahead and place that block in. That should flow in 1 block away from that other one. Same thing right here. We need to skip one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That happens to be the end of my farm, so that's perfect. We can just go and block that one off and put a water source right there. Now what we need to do is we need to build up the sides all the way up 4 high. So we need to come all the way up to this level and fill that all the way in, and also break out any of the in-betweens right here on the top level, so any of the items can actually flow down and in. Once your ice streams are all in place and your front area is all boxed in so none of the items fly out past your hopper, you're going to need to build a giant ice sheet at the top level of that stream right there, and that's going to go out to the edge of your farm however many modules you decide to build. Now remember, each module is 7 blocks wide, so you're going to add 7 blocks from this block right here, so that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 from that point. And for the very last one, you're only going to add 5 blocks instead of 7. So that's how you go ahead and measure that. Now also, once you get done building this platform, you are going to need to build it up by 3 blocks around the edges like this, and create a wall around the entire thing 3 blocks tall. Once your walls are in place, next you're going to go ahead and come on inside the farm, and from this corner right here, you're going to count out 9 blocks. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Place a block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Place another block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we don't have 9 on that one, so that should be fine. So let's go ahead and carry both of these out all the way across the farm. Once you've got those extended across your farm, come on over here and you're going to count 2 blocks in front of that pole. So go ahead and 1, 2, break that one out, and you're going to break this all the way across the farm, and same thing on that back one. Then place water underneath all of your ice and let it flow into that gap. Then fill that gap back in with your ice. You'll notice that when you place back your ice, not all of it will flow, so what you'll need to do is you'll need to go ahead and place blocks like this all the way down the line, and then go ahead and break them, which will update all the water. Once you have your water streams all updated and they're all flowing like this, you're going to have to come out here to the back. Now, if you have less than 7 blocks back here, I have 8. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you have 8 blocks, you're going to have to do what I'm about to do. But if you have 7 or less, you can go ahead and build this platform up like this all the way to your wall, and go ahead and pour some water on there and make sure that that platform's 8 blocks wide. Then you're going to continue that process all the way across, and I'll show you guys how to do that here in a second. But since I have 8 blocks, if you do have 8 blocks, you're going to have to bring this platform down here. Now these ice blocks are going to be temporary because we're going to be actually placing a whole nother platform right here, which means that the platform that I'm standing on, the ice that I'm standing on, can actually go away. So you can actually break all of this out down here and then raise this whole platform up back to the wall. So now, as you can see, I've raised my platform one above the rest of it, and I've also taken out my corner blocks, as well as put in my water and blocked that off with some iron blocks to keep it from freezing. I've also replaced these with iron blocks too, because these are just temporary, to let you guys know that these are temporary and these ones are staying, just to show you guys the difference. So we're going to be taking these out later as soon as we have some platform over here to keep our blocks from freezing. But for now, we're going to be working on the second platform of our water stream, which is going to come right over here. So what we need to do now is we actually need to go ahead and come out by 1 block right here. You're going to step down a block right there and come out by 2 more. You're going to carry that pattern out all the way down your farm. And then you're going to come out by, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need to come out by 4 more blocks like this right there and carry that all the way down your farm. Once you have this ice layer in, go ahead and leave that alone for now. We're going to come back to that later. For now, we need to go ahead and come over here to this wall. You're going to build out a little area just like this, and you're going to extend that off the wall by 1 block, and you're going to carry that all the way across the farm, extending it off that side by 1 block. Then you're going to count out 6 blocks in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you're going to go ahead and on the 7th one, place out another one just like that, and carry that all the way across the farm. So again, we're going to count out on the 7th one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 6 blocks of airspace in between. So carry that all the way across, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Place that one there, and then there you should have 6 blocks of airspace and carry that all the way across. And you should have 5 more blocks in their farm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like that. So once your ice bridge is in place, you might notice that some of these are going to overlap this block right there on your ice paths, depending on how many modules you build. Now, the point of these ice paths right here is to get the items across this blank area right here where there is no water. Just like you have over here demonstrated, this blank area right here, if an item lands right there, it would just stay there if this water source wasn't on top. So if you didn't have this stream up here, you can move the stream left or right a few blocks. It doesn't really matter, whatever fits your farm, however it works. And in my case, I had 8 blocks in the back, so I had to go ahead and use my water stream just like this and make sure it flows over just like so. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and place in some blocks on top, because any bridges that went across this block on your ice path, you can go ahead and leave those alone. But for now, you're going to have to go ahead and build out a 2 block high area just like this out of some temporary blocks and cover that area. And once you do that, now you can go ahead and place your water sources so they don't freeze, and they should all flow down into that little trough that we have right in front of us, just like that. There we go. Alright, once we get down to the end there, we should be able to go ahead and place our ice in. Let's go ahead and place this in just like that here. There we go. Alright, then what we're going to do is we're going to come behind the farm. There we go. That should update all of that. Perfect. Just like so. Wonderful. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and come behind the farm right here, or come behind that water stream. We're going to break out this last layer of ice all the way down. Then, of course, down beneath, you have that layer of ice right there. You need to break that one out too. So now all of the ice is gone from beneath and behind, so now when items fall through, they can go ahead and flow right through nice and easily. Next, you're going to go ahead and come over here to the front of your storage area and put up a setup just like this, because we're going to be pushing trapdoors down in this direction, down on the front side of this ice path right here. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be placing these trapdoors on the front of that redstone block just like this, and then pressing that button, which should push them, but allowing them to stay in the upwards position. Now I've got some blocks on my left hand side, because as you can see, it makes it easy to aim at that button, just like this. So we're going to continue to place trapdoors until we reach our push limit. You need to do that from both sides of your ice path all the way around your farm. And once you've done that, you're going to have this gap here in the middle. So what you're going to do is you're going to come out with some redstone blocks just like this. You can break that one out. Grab your trapdoors and place these in here in the same fashion as the other ones. Then you're going to be placing a piston right here, and then coming around on the other side, placing in pistons in this direction right here. Right there, break that one and break that one, place one right there, just like that. And now you can place a redstone block on top of all three of these, powering them all at once, and then you can break the rest of all this stuff out. Once you have all that done, next we're going to go ahead and lay out our ice paths. So we're going to come to the side with our storage, come off the side of that ice path right there by 3 blocks, and go ahead and hook around just like this. This will make sure that the player gets pushed around in this fashion, being pushed into the trapdoor so he can reach the ice at the very end of the row. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this ice path and stretch it all the way down to the other end of the farm, to the very last ice path. You need to make sure that this ice path has water flowing in your direction. It needs to be flowing towards you. So if that's so, then you can go ahead and link that up all the way just like that, and then that way that'll link all the way around. This path right here is going to have water going in that direction. This one here is going to have water coming towards us and looping you back around towards this other path. So we can go ahead and link that up too. So go ahead and put some ice there just like that. Next, we will be needing to measure out all of our corners for the water flow. So I've got 2 different blocks in my inventory here, and what we're going to be doing is measuring how far the water will be flowing around each corner. Because we do have a little bit of variance here. The water can be pushed back between this block and the block over here. So basically what that means is that the water will be able to flow all the way around this corner here, just like that, regardless of where it's placed within those 3 blocks. Same thing for this corner. We have a couple different things that we can do, but the water does have to flow around the corner. It can't just flow here and then have another water source. It has to evenly flow around the corner, and then that means that the other corner around this side also has some limitations as well. Next, we're going to be using blocks to measure out our water sources. Instead of placing in water sources where we're going to have a big problem with it, we can always measure out with these blocks here to figure out where our water sources are going to be. So, with this corner, the furthest up that we can actually bring the water source to my left is that corner right there. The water source has to flow around this corner, flowing over into here. So what we're going to do is we're going to count 8 blocks and place a block right there. So that's how far the water would flow from that position all the way around from that position. So now the minimum distance is this area right here. The water has to at least flow around that corner in order to get the player to be pushed into the next water stream. So basically what we're going to do now is we're going to come right behind this block here and go ahead and count 8 blocks back behind that one and place one right there. So those are the two areas that you have the minimums and maximums between your water sources. So what we're going to do is we're going to break the ends of those out so we don't get confused, and that is the area in which we can actually place our water sources. Down here at the return corner, we're going to go ahead and place a block right there, which is going to represent where our water source can go, because that's the furthest up forward towards the corner that it can actually come. It has to flow around the corner 8 blocks. So we're going to go ahead and count 8 blocks and place a block right there. And just like that, there we go. So that's the end of that water source right there. But we also have the minimum, so the water source has to at least flow around the corner that far. So what we're going to do is we're going to count 8 blocks back from that one and go ahead and place another block, which will represent how far the water will flow from there. Now you can go ahead and break these few blocks out here, because those blocks right here represent the position of the water placement. It can go anywhere in between these two blocks. This is the measurement of where the blocks can be as far as the water sources. So they're going to be flowing in this direction. Like I said, they have to at least flow around the corner. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to work on this corner and figure out where the water sources would work together, because both corners have to work together with these water sources. So what we're going to do from this position right here, we're going to count 9 blocks back from that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 right there. Which doesn't work because, like I was saying earlier, the water has to flow around the corner. So it's going to be right in that position, which just simply won't work. So if you were to scoot it over by 1 block and put it right here, that still won't work because the water sources are going to be touching each other. So we're going to have to put it 1 block further away, which happens to work because it's in the same position that our iron block is in over here on the left hand side. So if we were to move these blocks over here just by 1, just like that, we can go ahead and get rid of this other glass block too, and go ahead and mark this iron block here with the glass block as well. You can also come over to this side and break this iron block out as well, because now we're going to be counting 9 blocks back from this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which works out perfect with the glass block that I had originally. Next, we're going to go ahead and do this exact same thing for this inner corner right here, and however many modules you have in between. So anytime you have a U-turn like this, you're going to be placing a block down right there on your right hand side to represent where the water source will go, because it does have to go at least right there to evenly flow all the way around the corner to my right. So once that's in place, that's where you're going to mark your beginning point. Now, like I was saying, the water has to at least go there. So what we're going to do is we're going to count 8 blocks this way and represent where the water would stop. So that's where the water is going to stop if we were to place it there at the glass block. So now what we can do is we can bring out our maximum. How far back can we bring the water source? Well, the water has to at least flow around this corner as well. So that means we can't place it there. So that means that the minimum is there. That's as far back as we can bring our water source. So what we're going to do there is go ahead and come 2 blocks behind that one, just like that, and that gives us an even spacing to let us know where our minimums and maximums are. Now, to go ahead and continue this pattern, what we're going to do is break these blocks out here, because that's not the beginning of the water source, that's the end of it. That's just for a demonstration. Now what you're going to do is you're actually going to count 9 blocks in between each of these blocks and bring these around both of these sides. Once you have that in place, making sure that you have all of your blocks placed correctly, 9 blocks in between, the same way that we spaced these glass blocks here on this side. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing on these outer wings. Once you have your outer wings all measured out, now you're going to be bringing these 2 legs out off the farm just a little bit. This is the opposite side of your storage area. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be measuring from this block here around to this area over here to make sure that the water sources flow all the way around. And the best way to do that, depending on how your farm's laid out, is just to visualize it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and count out 8 blocks to where our water source would end. And that's right there, which just simply wouldn't work because you can see that it's got to flow around the corner. So that's one's not going to work. So what we're going to do is we're going to come out by 1 more, just like this, right here, and go ahead and bring this out and around and counting our blocks. Just like so. So that's where that one would end, which again, that one won't work because the water source has to flow around this corner too, which if it were to start there, it just wouldn't work because as you guys know, it has to flow around the corner. So that's just not an option either. So we're going to come out by 1 more, see how that one works. And that one right there, I think actually might do us. That actually might work. Let's go ahead and bring this around. Now we need to make sure that we have 8 blocks between this block and our other blocks up there. So let's go ahead and see how that measures out here. Let's go into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, just like that. So then we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, which isn't going to work because we need to land in there somewhere. So that's simply not that's not big enough. We need to go ahead and stretch it out just a little bit longer because we don't have nearly enough blocks in between that one and that one. They would go ahead and overlap that one, and we need to either come in between these 4 blocks right here that the glass and the iron block are in. So that one's simply not going to work either. So now we need to go ahead and bring this out by 1 more, just like that, and go ahead and test it out again and see what this looks like. So let's go ahead and test this one out and see what happens here. Let's go and put all our blocks in, and then go ahead and measure this one. Alright, let's go ahead and count from here. We've got ourselves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It still overlaps, which isn't big enough still, so I think we're going to have to bring it out by one more, and I think that'll go ahead and do us, because we still need to land the block in between these blocks right here. So let's go ahead and bring this out by one more. Let's go ahead and see how that does. It'll bring us out to this point. You can break these blocks out here. Then we're going to go ahead and bring that out, skip that block, place in our glass block for the beginning of our water source, and then go ahead and complete that around, and then go ahead and count our blocks from there and see how it lines up. So let's go ahead and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wonderful. It lands inside of our minimums and maximum distances that we have right here. So this is what we want. This is why you line these up. So now that we know that what our water sources need to go, we need to go ahead and measure these blocks out all the way down the line. So now that that U-turn's done, now we need to work on this one over here, which we're going to go ahead and measure these out again. So let's count out our 9 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then 9. One more on the end right here. Same thing to this block over here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 right there for our glass block. Alright. So now what we need is we need a 17 block corner from block to block right here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and do some subtraction. We're going to go and subtract the 6 blocks that we have in between. So from 17 to 6, now we have 11. So there's 11, 10, 9, 8, just like that. Now that brings us up to even. 8 divided by 2 is 4, so I'm going to place 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. Place 4 on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, and bring this all the way across like that. Now, if for some reason that doesn't line up for you at 17 blocks, you get something else like 16 or 18, you are going to have to do something tricky to get yourself 1 block less for your water streams to match up, because they do have to match up evenly. Because as you can see here, if we count out our 9 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, now we should be able to do that again. It'll land on that block. So we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So it lands perfectly on my block. So like I said, if this doesn't line up for you in your world, you're going to have to do something tricky somehow and get the water sources to not only flow around the corners evenly, but also make sure that you have these layout just like this, where you have 8 blocks of airspace in between your water sources. So now that you have the location of all your water source blocks all laid out, what you need to do now is go ahead and border off your entire area just like this. Go ahead and take a border like this all the way around the backside, covering it with glass just like this. Remember to leave any glass off of the border anywhere that you're going to be hitting, just like right here. When you finally get all of your glass in, remember down here at the end, you are going to need an obsidian block, because you're going to be turning this corner and hitting that glass, but you do need a corridor right here. So once you're done with that, I also want you to notice where I've placed the glass. You're going to be placing it all the way around like this, but you're going to be stopping here because you're going to be hitting this area right there, so you don't want to be breaking your glass. And then I've put it behind the player where they're not going to break it. And I'll also with the iron blocks, I've brought those all the way to the trap doors, all the way wrapping around, encasing the entire ice path all the way around. So like I said, we have glass anywhere that's on the side or behind the player, and we've encased the entire ice path all the way up to the trapdoors with the iron blocks all the way around. And then like I said, on this last corner we've placed an obsidian for this corner to go all the way around. So that's what we've done there. So now what we need to do is we actually need to go ahead and close up some of these gaps. So right here at the bottom here, you're going to notice that you have some gaps right here on your walls, just like that. You can go ahead and close these up right here and place some obsidian right here in the corner, and then you can place glass blocks all behind there just like that. That'll go ahead and close up your corridor very nice and neatly. So what you're going to do now is you're going to go and go over here, do the same thing. You're going to close up the gap underneath here, right there. There we go, just like that. Go and close up that gap. Then up here, you're going to place in your obsidian block, and then your glass blocks all behind here. So, excuse me, there we go. Glass blocks all like that. And then again, once more, we're going to do the exact same thing up here. Let's go ahead and do this one. Place in our ice down there to complete that up. Then we can go ahead and place in our blocks like this. Then our obsidian block right here. and then our glass blocks on top of that, just like that, to go ahead and complete that all up. So I guess we'll go ahead and change these blocks out right here too. Change these out for regular blocks so it matches the whole decor like that. There we go. Alright, so now you're going to need to do the exact same thing on the other side. Once you have both sides done, don't forget to come around your last module and bring a ring around that as well and complete the wall up all the way around. Hey guys, hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial, but unfortunately I'm reaching the time limit on my video, so I'm going to have to make a second part to this tutorial. So go ahead and click on the link on the end screen right there. That'll take you to part 2 of this video. And don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in part 2 of this tutorial.